Okay, so I have a confession to make right before we even get started.
Oh,
Yeah. I was driving the other day, in a rental car, totally unfamiliar city,
hmm.
and I plugged my phone in, and of course, the battery is dead, no cable. So, for the first time in, I don't know, maybe 3 years, I hit the FM button on the dashboard.
The forbidden button. Did you enter a time warp?
It really felt like it. I was scanning through all the static, and I just found myself thinking that sentence that everyone says, the one,
Oh, I know it.
usually with a very serious, knowing nod, radio is dying.
It's the media industry's favorite obituary, isn't it? We've been writing it since television was invented.
Exactly. And if you look at the numbers, Spotify, podcasts, YouTube, it feels true. But today, we are diving into some research that says we are all completely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at a paper by Charles Odendahl that argues radio isn't dying at all. In fact, he claims it's on the verge of a renaissance, but only if we stop thinking about it as radio.
It's a really provocative stance. Yeah. Odendahl is deep in the trenches of broadcast technology, and his argument is it's pretty nuanced. He says that static radio is definitely dying. It's on life support, but hybrid radio, well, that is just getting started.
Okay, so let's unpack that distinction immediately, because when I hear static radio, I'm thinking of that, fuzzy noise I heard in the rental car.
But he's talking about a business model, right?
Exactly. Static here means the traditional, inflexible way radio has been run for, 80 years? Think about your rental car experience. You hit scan, you probably hit it 5 or 6 times. Why?
Because I hit commercials, or a song I hated, and this was the worst one, I hit dead silence, just air.
That is static radio. It's a model that assumes the listener is captive. It assumes you have nowhere else to go. But today, you have the entire history of music in your pocket.
Right.
And Odendahl identifies 3 massive pressures that are just crushing these traditional stations, especially the smaller community and regional ones. Okay, let's go through these, because I think they explain why the local station in my hometown sounds exactly the same as it did in 1999. First one is just pure economics, rising costs.
It's the boring but deadly reality. To run a radio station the old school way, you need humans in chairs, a presenter, a producer, someone managing the board. That is expensive.
Sure.
Now, during the morning commute, the breakfast show, that cost is justified because ads sell for a premium. Everyone's listening.
But what happens at 2:00 a.m. or 10:00 a.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. The listener numbers, they just drop off a cliff, but the cost of the humans,
It's the same.
it stays exactly the same. So station managers are stuck. Do they burn cash paying a DJ to talk to maybe 12 people? Or do they just switch to automation?
And that leads right into the second pressure, dead air time. This is the one that kills me. I know silence is golden, but not on the radio.
In radio, silence is an exit ramp. Odendahl talks about this in terms of audience psychology.
Yeah.
In the age of TikTok and Instagram Reels, our tolerance for boredom is, well, it's effectively 0.
Measured in milliseconds.
Right. If a listener tunes in at night and hears 10 seconds of silence between tracks, or just a clumsy transition, they aren't just annoyed. They leave.
And they don't come back.
Exactly. And this links to the third pressure, digital expectations. You mentioned your phone died, but usually it's alive. Listeners today expect their audio to be everywhere, on the web, in an app, on a smart speaker.
It's the O-chord problem. If the station isn't on my phone, for all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist.
Precisely. So you have these local stations, and they're fighting a war on 3 fronts. They have no money for 247 staff, they have dead air scaring away listeners, and they have no technical infrastructure to stream online properly.
It sounds incredibly bleak. If I'm a station manager, I'm probably looking at the lease on my transmission tower and just sweating.
Well, this is where Odendahl pivots.
Okay.
He says the solution isn't to fight the tech, the solution is to invite the robots in.
Enter the age of AI.
There it is.
Now, hold on. We have to pause right here. Because when we say AI in radio, I think every listener immediately pictures a robotic voice saying, that was Led Zeppelin.
Right.
It feels soulless. Is that what we're talking about? Replacing the local legend with a hard drive?
That is the knee-jerk fear.
Yes.
And it's a valid one.
Right.
But Odendahl is very specific here. He distinguishes between AI as a replacement and AI as a support. He's not really talking about generative voice AI taking over the morning show. He's talking about algorithmic curation and scheduling.
So not a robot DJ, but more like a robot program director.
Think of it more like the ultimate operational safety net. The source uses this brilliant metaphor. AI is A reliable overnight host that never gets tired, never misses a cue, and never asks for overtime.
Never asks for overtime.
Yeah.
That's the part that makes the station manager's ears perk up.
That just changes the map. If you can use AI to intelligently curate the music and the station imaging during the graveyard shift, let's say 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., you solve the dead air problem. It sounds professional. It sounds live because the transitions are perfect.
Yeah.
But you're not paying a human salary.
And this isn't just like shuffle play on iTunes.
No, and that's a really crucial distinction. A shuffle playlist is random. It might play a death metal song right after a ballad. AI scheduling understands day parting, it understands energy flow.
Okay.
It knows that at 5 a.m., people are waking up, so it needs to slowly ramp up the tempo. It can insert station IDs and weather updates at the exact right millisecond.
Okay, so it's smarter than a playlist, but here's my skepticism. If the AI is doing the overnight shift, doesn't that just mean fewer jobs for humans? I mean, that overnight shift is usually where the young DJs cut their teeth.
That's a fair point. But the counter-argument from the source is that without this kind of cost-saving measure, the station might go bankrupt entirely, that nobody has a job. By letting the AI handle the low-profit hours, you free up the budget to pay the primetime humans better, or to hire more creative producers for the shows that really matter.
So the robot mops the floors so the humans can cook the meal.
That's a great analogy.
Mm.
And once you have this digital backbone, this hybrid system, you can do things that were physically impossible for static radio.
Yeah.
This is where we get into the vibe economy.
Oh, I love this section of the source material. It feels like the moment radio stops trying to be a utility and starts trying to be like a lifestyle product.
It's about breaking out of the single stream mindset.
Right.
Traditionally, a radio station has one signal. You broadcast one thing to everyone.
Right.
If you're playing jazz, you're alienating the rock fans. If you're playing news, you're losing the music fans.
But with hybrid radio, you aren't limited to the FM tower anymore. You're streaming online.
And because you're using AI to help manage the content, you can spin up multiple screens with almost zero extra effort. Odendahl calls these vibe channels. So you can have your main station, but on your app, you also offer a cafe vibe stream.
Which would be like acoustic covers, indie folk.
Exactly. Something safe for a coffee shop to play in the background. Or a retail vibe, upbeat, pop-focused, totally safe for work. Or a barbershop vibe, maybe hip-hop and R&B mixed with sports talk snippets.
Huh. That's interesting. So instead of just selling ads on the radio, the station can go to a local coffee chain and say, hey, we have a stream specifically curated for your atmosphere. We'll play your ads on that stream.
Boom. You've just created a new revenue stream that didn't exist before. And you're doing it without hiring 3 new music directors, because the AI handles the curation based on the rules you set.
It effectively turns a local radio station into a mini Spotify, but with local flavor.
And with a brand identity. That's the key. Spotify is global and impersonal. These vibe streams still carry the station's DNA, the local news drops, the familiar voices, but the music is tailored.
There was another platform mentioned in the expansion strategy that really surprised me. YouTube Live.
Yeah, this is a big one.
I mean, I watch YouTube for video essays or cat clips. I don't think of it as a radio receiver. Why is he so bullish on YouTube Live for audio?
It's all about discoverability. Think about Google. If you type in local news or cool music stream, Google prioritizes YouTube results.
Ah, okay.
If a radio station is just broadcasting via some obscure website player, nobody finds it. But if they are live on YouTube 24/7, even if the visual is just a cool animation or a camera in the studio, they suddenly exist in the world's second largest search engine.
So it's not about the video, it's about being found.
Exactly. It opens them up to a global audience. You could have someone in Tokyo listening to a community station in Cape Town just because they like the vibe and they found it on YouTube.
So we have the problem, which is static radio is dying, and the solution, which is this hybrid AI and streaming model. But I want to talk about the how. Because this sounds great on paper, but if I'm a 60-year-old station owner who has been running things on tape decks and CD players, this sounds terrifyingly complex.
And expensive.
Right. Who actually installs all this? Do I just hire my nephew who is good with computers?
That is usually the mistake people make. They try to hack it together. But Odendahl introduces a specific concept here, the radio innovation partner.
That sounded like a brand new job title to me.
It's almost a new industry sector. The innovation partner isn't just an IT guy. And they aren't just a radio consultant. They are a hybrid entity themselves.
What does that mean exactly?
Well, imagine a tech startup that actually understands what a back announce is, or why dead air is so bad, if you bring in a standard Silicon Valley tech firm, they might set up a great server, but they don't get the culture of radio.
They don't get the soul of it.
Right. The radio innovation partner bridges that gap. They come in and say, okay, we respect your heritage. We aren't here to fire your DJs. We are here to build a digital twin of your station so you can survive the next 10 years.
So they're the ones who handle the coding, the AI training, the app development, all of that.
Yes. They build the infrastructure so the radio people can just do radio. It's about removing that technical barrier.
But isn't that incredibly expensive for a small station?
It's an investment, sure, but look at the alternative. The source material is pretty stark about the risk of delay. It says stations that refuse to adapt won't fail because radio is a bad medium. They will fail because they became invisible.
It's the Blockbuster Video scenario. People didn't stop watching movies. They just stopped going to the store.
That's a perfect comparison. People haven't stopped listening to audio. They're listening to more audio than ever in human history. They just stopped tuning in to static.
This brings up the business case again. Odendahl talks about hybrid radio having 3 pillars. We've touched on them, but I want to, crystallize them for the listener.
Sure. Pillar 1, human voices where they matter most. Don't waste your best talent on the 3.0 AM slot. Put them in prime time and pay them well.
Pillar 2,
Automation, where it makes financial sense. Use that reliable host, the AI, to handle the repetitive, low-value tasks.
and Pillar 3,
Streaming is an extension, not a duplicate. Don't just stream your FM signal. Use the digital platform to offer more vibes, more choices, more niche content.
It really is a complete overhaul of the mindset.
Right.
But, and here's where I want to push back a little. We've heard this story before. Technology changes everything. Adapt or die. Is radio really resilient enough to pull this off?
Well, if you look at history, radio is the cockroach of media. And I mean that as a compliment.
It survives everything.
Think about the 1950s. Television arrives. Everyone said, radio is dead. Why would you just listen when you can watch?
Video killed the radio star.
Exactly. But what did radio do? It pivoted. It stopped trying to do scripted dramas and comedies, which TV did better, and it embraced rock and roll. It became the home of music discovery.
Then came the MP3 player, the iPod.
Why listen to the radio when I have 1,000 songs in my pocket? So radio pivoted again. It focused on personality. It focused on the morning zoo, the shock jocks, that local connection.
And now streaming.
This is just the next threat. And Odendahl's argument is that AI is the tool radio will use to survive this one. It's not an extinction event, it's an evolution event.
But there is a paradox here that I can't shake, and I think it's the most fascinating part of this whole deep dive.
Go on.
We are talking about using machines, AI, algorithms, automation to save radio, but isn't the whole point of radio that it's human? That there is a person on the other end? If we automate half the day, are we killing the very thing we are trying to save?
That is the big question. But let's look at the flip side. If you have a human DJ working the graveyard shift, getting paid minimum wage, exhausted, burnt out,
Yeah.
are they giving you a great human connection?
Probably not. They're just trying to stay awake.
Right. But if you let the AI handle that drudgery, if you let the machine take the heavy lifting of the boring hours, you free up that human. Maybe they get a full night's sleep. Maybe they come into the studio at 8 a.m. fresh, creative, and ready to really connect with the audience.
So by handing the grunt work to the robots, we actually allowed the humans to be more human.
That's the potential of the hybrid model. It's not about replacing humanity. It's about preserving it for where it counts. We might be entering a golden age of radio, where the content is actually better, sharper, and more local, specifically because the stations aren't bleeding money trying to keep the lights on overnight.
The quiet evolution.
Exactly. The stations that win won't be the ones making big announcements about AI takeovers. They will be the ones quietly installing these systems, fixing their bottom line, and sounding better than ever. You won't even know they're doing it. You'll just know that you stopped hitting the scan button.
Well, that is certainly something to think about the next time you're in a rental car. Or even just asking your smart speaker to play some tunes. Radio isn't checking out, it's just upgrading its operating system.
And maybe, just maybe, getting a little bit smarter.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next wave.
Stay curious.